Paterson City Council meeting last night, 4/15/2025. Horrendous, ridiculous, insane, obnoxious, unprofessional. Your elected officials displayed the worst displaying of rhetoric and arguments and controversy and threats that I've ever seen in the city of Paterson. My name is John Benjamin, aka Noonie Noon. If you got any problems about what I said, come see me. I can leave all the information for you. Threats shouldn't be made with guns and things of that nature. So Velez, councilman that was elected, I watched you. I watched a few of you, including Miss Mims, Mr. Jackson. You guys was completely out of order. All of you, but Velez, the threat. If you can't stand the fire, don't take the job, brother. Don't take the job. Criticisms. All of you guys seem to not be able to handle criticisms. Where's your enthusiasms? You all guys, you preach God in church and moving the city forward and all of this stuff. I've been watching you guys for a minute. Let me just say this. The reason I can speak so freely, because I'm a lifelong resident of Paterson, New Jersey, and I've given back to the youth. I've been doing it since 1984. I'm a nonprofit with a 501c3. None of you guys that sit down there on that council meeting right now has ever came to a Nooney's Gang function. Just like I'm on today, it's always advertisement. So there's no excuse why you don't come. At my last little meeting with the kids, 11 to 15 boys and girls, what we do there is we mentor them. We let them play basketballs, hone their skills and abilities, and we also give them takeaways, and then we let them speak. We have volunteers, mothers, grandmothers, sisters, brothers, aunts, volunteers, coaches that come through. January 18, 2005, I asked a question because I was curious as to you guys always bragging about moving the city forward. I asked the parents and the kids there. This was in January, prior to your melee last night, your horrendous acts that you guys performed last night. Prior to that, I asked them, did they know who their council people was? They looked at me like I had 3 heads. I asked the parents. They didn't know who you were. So all you guys that's saying, oh, I reach out, I call, I answer phones, I do this, I do that. Try going to some of these churches unannounced. Try going to some of these schools unannounced, and just tell the folks who you are. Tell the kids who you are. Just come in the community. You don't have to be in the same ward or district. Do that. No, you want to stay in your own quote unquote churches. You want to stay in your own little circle, and that's not moving the city forward. They didn't know who you guys were, and personally, myself, I could care less if you come or not. It's for the kids, but none of you have ever shown up yet. I got to give props to Jamie Bland, Benji Wimmerly, the late Bill Pasquarel Jr., the Lynch Law Firm brothers, Walt Clyde Frazier, Jimmy Salmon, who else? Ivana Sumter, and so many volunteers and so many merchants that gave water, pizza, and things of that nature for the kids. And also McCoy, who sat as a council president once upon a time. I did address the council about some funds, and he was very instrumental in doing that. You guys now with this 3-minute rule and The district that I host my tournaments for the kids is the 5th district, and I think that's the council president's district. You never set foot in there. Martin Luther King School, School 30. You know the school I'm talking about. Try visiting these schools, letting these folks know who you really are, except at voting and time. You run around here trying to drum up some votes. That was so ridiculous last night. I mean, it's been ridiculous for a while how you guys run things down there. And I took the liberty of looking up how city council meetings supposed to be ran and who's in charge and how much power you have. And let me just say this. Michael Jackson is right. You guys have the power to make these laws and to change them and to go against whoever authority over you and question them on why their motives is to decline or approve things. You have that power, but you guys don't use it. So I was going to come down there personally to express my concern, because last night was very dangerous. And let me just say this to all you guys. Joe Rock is nothing to be playing with. You know, I mean, I know his reputation in the street and out of the street. And it takes a lot for that brother. He's a humble brother. It takes a lot for him to get upset. And to see last night how it went down was just totally disrespectful and embarrassing. The only other thing I can say is this. I did address the mayor. He told me he don't sit in our council meetings. My boy now, Andre, don't sit in. So what other mayor has sit in our council meetings? And he had a little point, but now he needs to address you guys. He needs to have a meeting with you guys, because last night was totally ridiculous. And it's the same old folks that is afraid of criticism. I've been monitoring it. I've been watching it. And I got no horse in nobody's race. But the truth. You guys say you believe in God, but you don't do godly things. Some of you say you're a minister and doctors and you got all kind of labels, but I don't see it being reflected. I'm sorry. I really don't. As far as the park's always going to need improvement. So that's a good thing. We got folks that's not on the city council meeting, that's in the street, in the neighborhood, the communities, doing things that you guys are not doing. The Greer family, Nancy included. Okay? These folks are doing things and they're not looking for glory or some type of shining star or pat on the back. Same as Noonie, John Benjamin. Since 1984, I've been giving back. The only person ever came to me and asked me about how I was getting funded was the Lynch Law Firm in East Rutherford and the late, respected pioneer Bill Pasquarel Jr. No one else asked me anything or given a helping hand in terms of financing for these kids to keep them off the streets from shooting each other. You never talk about these guns being on the street. They're still out there. Things are still happening. And as far as answering people coming, taking the time out of their day to come up to this council meeting to express their concerns, you guys rush them off the mic. And then you don't address what they came and advocate and spoke about. Oh, we'll talk to you later. Get the number and we'll talk to you later. No, address it right then. You have a whole business side over there that's supposed to be there and getting paid tax dollars to answer those questions. If they don't know it, then Google like the rest of us. Get on the phone. Answer the people's questions. You know, it's just a shame. It's embarrassing and it's very incompetent. You guys are very incompetent. I'm sorry. You are. I'm not saying you don't get up and go and think that you're doing the right thing. You do that, but it's not affecting and it's not being effective. So you have to change. You have to evolve into doing something else. You have to love your neighbor. You know, rehash your differences before you open up to the public, like us. and let us see such a poor display of who's supposed to be in power and helping us along the way to make the city streets cleaner. You understand? And I know the council is not the whole entity involved in Paterson, but you do legislate. So legislate. Do it. It was just so heartbreaking to see that and to hear threats. Like I said, I was born and raised in Paterson. Those are called wolf tickets. If you're able to issue wolf tickets, be able to receive the consequences for those tickets to be cashed. So I wouldn't be so quick to threaten folks, especially with a gun. Velez, that came out of your mouth. I don't care about the other situation with the conversations with your personal business and all that. You both of you guys was going back and forth too much. And I mean, we can't. People got up out of their beds and sacrificed to come there to listen to that. So I mean, that was just crazy. That whole thing needs to be revamped, if you ask me. It needs to be revamped, or some real folks need to step in there. Oh, voting time. No. Then you're out. You're out at voting time. It's just totally ridiculous, man. So, the youth, the next generation, the youth. Yes, like everyone's saying, and it's true, they're watching you. They're watching you. And listen, and let me just say this before I sign off of here. Perpetrating frauds, if you guys don't know what that is, are trying to cover up stuff and make it seem good by changing the narratives and by doing the little midgets or clippets or, that stuff don't work. It doesn't work. People in Paterson or people in the world today are very aware of all the games. So if you're doing something from your heart, you don't have to brag about it, or you don't have to even mention it. Other folks will mention it for you. Jamie Bland came to me a couple of years ago and says, Noonie, I'm so happy what you're doing with these kids. I want to make you a legend in Paterson. So she had a big fiasco at the Fiesta in Rutherford. And there was a few of us that received rewards. She didn't have to do that. She didn't look for no recognition or anything. She just did it. Nancy Greer, besides the food packages, she's out there at these parks doing things. She's been doing that since U-Park days, back when I was on the committee with her, with what's Nancy, the other Nancy's name? Vivian, I think her name was Vivian. Vivian was in charge of that. We had Baines, we had the mayor. I think the mayor was Kramer then, somebody like that. But Nancy's been in the trenches for a while. So those are the kind of folks you guys want to put on these panels and do things. Me, I'm strictly for the kids, and I've been doing it. And like I said, I haven't seen one of your faces at one of my events. I do it 4 or 5 times a year. And your mayor gave me the green light to do it. You understand? Through Benji and through Jimmy, and we get it done. So, listen, stop the shenanigans, stop the arguing, stop the backbiting, stop the fighting. Let's get on the ball and do the right things, man, because life is so short, folks. You're sitting next to somebody that's your neighbor on those councils. That's supposed to be your partner. Tomorrow they may have a sudden heart attack, then you're sorry. You can't get it back. You can't get the forgiveness back. You understand? I just lost a daughter last year. You understand? And it's not easy, folks. It's not easy. So, and my daughter worked with me on Noonie's gang, helping kids out too. I got to do something special for her somewhere down the line later on. Her name was Tamara Benjamin. Now, that brings me to mind. I'm just going to leave you with this quote here. 2 Timothy 4, 7, and 8. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Henceforth, there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness. So, God is watching. God is watching. Hug somebody. Peace. Your boy, Noonie Noon.